One heartbeat, the sky was quiet. Engine roar, blue horizon, trust locked in tight formation. The next heartbeat, his wingman exploded so close the blast slammed his jet sideways like a punch from God. Fire filled the air. Shrapnel screamed past the canopy. And the man who had watched his back through every close call was gone without a single word. No mayday, no warning, just empty sky. That moment didn't just kill a pilot. It cracked something deeper inside one man and across an entire squadron. And what followed was vengeance written at supersonic speed. They flew together so often it felt automatic, like muscle memory. Same squadron, same call signs, same dark humor before takeoff to bleed off the nerves. In the air, his wingman wasn't just another jet on the formation, he was insurance, backup, family. They trusted each other with their lives, and in combat, that trust was everything. The mission briefing sounded routine enough. Patrol the sector, intercept if necessary, push back any hostile aircraft sniffing around friendly airspace. Nothing about it screamed bloodbath. Wheels up, climb out, settle into cruise. The sky was clear, almost peaceful, the kind of calm that makes you forget you're in a war zone. Then radar contacts started lighting up. Multiple fast movers. The radio tightened, voices clipped and professional. Training kicked in. Formation adjusted. I scanned every angle. Our pilot glanced to his right. His wingman was right there, rock solid. Then the missile warning tone ripped through the cockpit, sharp and violent. Both jets broke hard, flares dumping, engines screaming as they tore through the sky. For a split second, it felt manageable, like they trained for this 100 times. And then the enemy fighter cut through the chaos with perfect timing. The missile struck the wingman's jet dead on. There was no call, no scream, just a blinding flash and a fireball that swallowed metal, fuel, and a human life in less than a second. The shockwave slammed our pilot's aircraft, alarms going crazy as debris clanged off his fuselage. Smoke flooded the cockpit. His brain locked up, refusing to accept what his eyes had just seen. That empty space beside him wasn't supposed to be empty. Training screamed at him to disengage, regroup, survive. But emotion doesn't follow checklists. Something inside him snapped, and the mission stopped being about orders. It became personal. The radio exploded into chaos. Overlapping calls, broken sentences, someone yelling his wingman's call sign like saying it enough times might bring him back. Our pilot barely registered it. His vision tunneled, heart hammering so hard it felt like it might crack his ribs. Fear hit first, cold and paralyzing. Then anger surged up behind it, hot and sharp, burning away everything else. He forced himself to breathe, to think. Quick checks, fuel, weapons, flight controls. The jet was still good, still deadly. Ahead of him, the enemy fighter that fired the missile was already turning away, probably thinking the job was done. That was the worst mistake he could make. Our pilot slammed the throttle forward, engines roaring like they shared his fury. G-forces crushed him into the seat as he dove after the target. Command barked orders to pull back, to stay with the formation. He didn't respond. This wasn't about the mission anymore. This was about a debt in the sky. The enemy pilot was skilled, dumping flares, pulling aggressive maneuvers, trying to disappear into cloud cover. Missile lock came and went. Missiles gone. It was down to guns and instinct. The sky twisted into a violent maze of vapor and sunlight. Tracers ripped past the enemy jet, close enough to feel. Sweat burned his eyes, breath loud in his helmet. A voice in the back of his head warned him this chase could get him killed. Then he remembered the explosion, the empty wing. The voice shut up. He wasn't chasing medals or glory. He was hunting the man who erased his brother from the sky, and he wasn't planning to miss. They dropped lower, punching through thick cloud layers where depth perception vanished and mistakes got fatal fast. Visibility was trash. One wrong move meant a midair collision or a stall straight into the dirt. The enemy pilot fought like hell. Tight turns, smart energy management, no wasted movement. This wasn't luck. This was skill. And that realization hurt almost as much as the loss itself. The HUD bounced as our pilot fought to line up the shot. Cannon fire shredding empty air where the enemy had been seconds earlier. Alarms screamed, fuel getting low, stress building up everywhere. He ignored them. The radio went dead quiet, like the rest of the squadron knew better than to interrupt what was happening. Then the enemy made a tiny mistake, a climb that bled just enough speed. Our pilot saw it instantly. He pulled up hard, body crushed under brutal GS, vision narrowing until the edges went dark. He squeezed the trigger and held it. The jet shook as rounds tore into the enemy aircraft. Smoke poured out, thick and black. The enemy tried to dive, then tried to eject. Too late. The jet rolled, spiraled, and vanished into the clouds below. Silence followed. No celebration, no relief, just a hollow weight settling into his chest. One kill didn't bring his wingman back. It didn't erase the fireball burned into his memory. Fuel warnings snapped him back to reality. He turned for home, scanning his wing out of habit. Nothing there, just empty sky, stretching forever, colder than it had ever felt before. Landing back at base felt mechanical, like his body was on autopilot while his mind lagged miles behind. Crew chiefs swarmed the jet the second he shut down, hands moving fast, eyes already knowing the outcome. No one asked where his wingman was. They didn't have to. The empty parking spot on the ramp hit harder than any missile. Debriefing was cold and clinical. Maps, timelines, calm voices breaking chaos into neat bullet points. Enemy aircraft destroyed. Friendly loss confirmed. Clean words for something that felt anything but clean. Our pilot barely spoke. He stared at the table, helmet between his hands, replaying the explosion over and over. That night, sleep refused to come. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw fire and flying metal. Heard silence where a voice should have been. Anger mixed with guilt. Why him, not me? He started volunteering for every mission, every risky intercept. Command noticed and warned him to slow down, to stop flying angry. He nodded, said the right things, then kept pushing. The squadron changed, too. Laughs were shorter. Jokes died faster. Everyone flew a little tighter, watched each other a little closer. Loss had rewired them. He wasn't chasing revenge anymore. That kill hadn't fixed anything. Now he was chasing purpose, trying to justify why he was still alive when his wingman wasn't. Weeks later, Intel flagged a major enemy air operation. Same unit, same tactics, same threat that took his wingman. The briefing room went dead silent. Everyone knew this one mattered. In the jet, our pilot felt the old anger rise, but this time he kept it leashed. Rage had almost killed him before. He wasn't letting it do that again. The fight exploded fast. Missiles streaking, flares blooming, contrails carving the sky into white scars. But he flew smarter now, not harder. He watched his formation like a hawk, calling out threats early, pulling others out of danger before it fully formed. When enemy fighters broke through, he engaged with precision, not emotion. One enemy jet went down clean. Another was forced to disengage. The sky was chaos, but controlled chaos. When the shooting finally stopped, the squadron regrouped. One by one, friendly call signs checked in. Everyone was still there. On the flight home, he glanced at his wing out of habit. Still empty, but the pain didn't crush him this time. For the first time since that explosion, he felt something close to peace. Not because of revenge, but because no one else was lost that day. At the memorial, the wind carried the names of the fallen across the flight line. When his wingman's name was spoken, it hit hard, but it didn't break him anymore. He finally understood what the war had been trying to teach him all along. Revenge feels powerful, but it's hollow. Protection, that's what matters. He started mentoring younger pilots, passing on lessons learned the hard way. How to watch your wing, how to check your ego, how to survive long enough to make it home. In the air, he flew like a shield, always scanning, always ready to step in. The loss never left him. It never would. But it no longer owned him. He had been shattered, yeah, but he rebuilt himself in the wreckage, piece by piece. War loves to sell the idea of glory, but what it really hands out are scars, on bodies, on minds, on the people left waiting back home. That dogfight shattered a squadron, but it also carved a truth into the sky. Revenge doesn't save lives. Discipline does. brotherhood does. Watching the person flying beside you does. His wingman died in an instant, but the lesson lived on in every safe landing after. If the story hit you, if it made you feel the cost behind the missions and medals, don't just scroll past it. Hit like, drop a comment, and share the story with someone who respects the sacrifice. And for more real, raw war stories that don't sugarcoat the truth, subscribe to Xtreme USA, because remembering matters and forgetting is the real loss.